I'll need some red truths if it's going to actually be a mystery or not. We searched around thoroughly. However, we couldn't find any traces of someone hiding. The three of them had almost certainly been taken outside the guest house. There's only one way it could have been done. Someone locked the doors behind them. I mean, of course you're not gonna say, like, someone did that. But I mean, that's just what you gotta think. Well, I mean, I don't think the doors were. I think the windows were, but, I think to lock the doors from the outside, you have to have a way to unlock them from the outside, so it'd be the exact same thing, so... That, the doors part in that is wrong. Windows, yeah. Yeah, okay, Nanjo. They walk through the walls.
確かにそういう論法にもなるだろうよ。隠し扉が存在しないなんて断言は誰にもできない。しかしそういう発想に飛躍する前に
Someone locked the doors
シ
behind
ン
him.
プルな可能性も疑ってる。
Please say that. For some time, Battler had been opening windows, opening shutters, and checking outside, repeating this for each window.
この窓は静かだな。なるほど。この窓は他と違って建物の構造上風が吹き込まないわけか。
そのようですな。こんなにも外は風雨なのに雨も風も入ってこないとは不思議な気持ちです。
南條先生、今窓を開けた時音を感じたかい？
いえ、気にはなりませんでしたが、よく油が効いていると思います。
つまり誰も見ていない廊下の窓からひょろっと抜け出すことは可能なわけだ。しかもこの窓なら風も吹き込まないから風圧でカーテンや扉が音を立てることもない。
Okay.
静かなもんさ。
Battler leaned forward and looked to the ground below. He was searching for some sign that George had jumped down, but at a glance he didn't see any mark that on the grass in the middle of the pouring rain.
こういう窓1階にもあるのかもしれない。誰にも気づかれず表へ出ることは可能だぜ。
しかし扉はおろか、窓は全て施錠されて鎧戸まで閉まっておりましたぞ。出ることは可能でも閉めることは不可能だ。
閉められるぜ。こうやってカチャンとな。
Battler closed the window and locked it as though this was perfectly obvious.
まさかバトラさんは。
Okay, he is saying exactly what I've been saying.
最後に中の人間が鍵を閉めればこんな密室は朝飯前だ。
Thank you.
しかしそれでは。
Calm down there, Nanjo. Nanjo turned pale and shook his head several times. Because the thing that Battler had said had forced him to face a fact that was frightening even to imagine. Maybe he's turning pale is because he realized he's being found out. Maybe that's what it is. That's getting close to what he did.
しかしこんなトリックを使えば怪しまれる人物は極めて限定される。
Well, it can't be Jessica or Battler, even though they say they're asleep so they don't have an alibi. But theoretically speaking, if they were both awake at the time, it would have been Jessica and Battler have alibis because they watched each other, and you can't fabricate that. So it's either Nanjo or Ava. And that's left. That could have done it. He didn't want to say it in front of Nanjo, but after eliminating Jessica, who had been with him the whole time, only Nanjo and Ava could have done it. See?
私はそんなことをしませんぞ。
Don't protest too much, though.
叱ってもいい。
となるとエヴァおばさんと南條先生のアリバイ合戦ってことになる。
Both are so fucking weak. It just falls apart once you say, yeah, okay. Can anyone vouch for you? Nope. Okay, good talk.
俺たちは二人とも怪しんで。
Exactly.
それぞれを別々に監禁すればいいだけの話。逆に言えばこのトリックはもっと生存者が多ければ有効かもしれないが。
Yeah, once you get down to like very little people, put them in opposite sides of the building, lock the doors, including the front and back door, confiscate all master keys from them, and set the chains. And then no murder happens. If, you know, Battler and Jessica stay in like a room upstairs and barricade that room, then boom, you're done. Don't have to worry about anything.
これだけ人数が減った状況下では大して有効ではないんだ。
No, on the contrary, there'd be a chance of having your own neck strangled by using it. It would have been more advantageous to make it look like the culprit was outside. To intentionally leave a door unlocked or break a window. Oh, exactly. I would have left a window open if it was me.
もしこの失踪劇が今日の昼にでも起これば、俺は自信満々にこの説を発表しただろうよ。だがこの段階に至っては全然自信が持てないぜ。何なんだこいつは。一体何を意味してやがるんだ。
That's why I say, I think this is just really odd. It doesn't feel like the first 6 murders. It was like a lot more careful, a lot more planned. This just feels rushed and sloppy. It doesn't feel like, you know, good. Doesn't feel like the other 2 episodes before. It just feels different.
この密室はよ。
やはりそう。
なんだい、南條先生。思いつきでもいいから言ってくれよ。
Like maybe George walked in on his mother murdering Cross and Nacho and he was about to scream she killed him? Maybe? Nacho looked like he was trying to swallow his words even though he thought of something, so I urged him on. After Dr. Nanjo refused several times, saying that it was just a foolish idea, he finally said it out loud.
Yes. やはりこれは本当に魔女の仕業ではない。
Shut the fuck up, Nanjo.
バカバカ
Get
し
the
い。
fuck out of here. Now you're really fucking suspicious. I'm gonna just bump you up and say you're an accomplice.
魔女なんているわけがねえぜ。
You're too valuable not to be an accomplice. And that's such a stupid statement when you're obviously guilty. You're obviously very suspicious to say, what about a witch? Out.
魔女は私たちに訴えたいのです。人間にはできないことをやってのけるからこそ。
This is something a human could do.
自分を魔女だと認めさせたいに違いないのです。
If she's trying to make it look like things that humans can't do, she's doing a piss poor job at it.
私はこのゲストハウス全体の密室からの失踪はそういう魔女からのメッセージだと感じています。
If everyone had an alibi, I'd believe you.
考えてはならないのです。意味なんてきっとないのです。私は恐ろしい。
This sounds so fucking faked. As Dr. Nandra shook with fear, it looked at it like he was trying to erase the fearsome thoughts that he kept imagining one after another. No, what it looks like he's doing is shifting the blame onto literally anything else. Or suspicion onto anything else. When we went downstairs, Neva and Jessica were enraged, and were each persistent in their desire to leave this place and search for their respective families. I nominate Ava to go. Those desires that naturally hit those who can no longer see their family. Ava told Dr. Nanjo and me to stay here but I shook my head and started walking.
もう引きこもりはたくさんだぜ。俺も外の空気を吸いたくなってきた。
Open a window.
ああ、行くならさっさと行こうぜ。もうこんなところに閉じこもってるのは真っ平さ。早く父さんや母さんやジョージ兄さんを探しに行こう。
The blood had all risen to Jessica's head. I hope it doesn't set off her asthma.
残りたい人は勝手に残ってればいいわ。
Nanjo's gonna fucking stay because he's old.
とにかく私たちは表を探してくるわ。
南條先生はどうする？一人で留守番してるか？
私も ご一緒させてください。
P.S. It would have been really suspicious if he didn't come, by the way. Just letting you know that. Rather than holding up alone in a gruesome guest house whose security was by no means guaranteed, it would be better to enter a danger zone as a group of 4 people. Eva had a gun. Moving separately from her was almost like asking to be made into the next victim. In this way, the 4 of us decided to leave the guest house. Plus, there's too many murders for the epitaph, because there's supposed to be like 5 who remain or whatever. Even though it should have been safe to barricade ourselves here, we lost 8 people after doing so. It was almost as though it was like a holding cell from which the sacrifices could be killed one after another. Removed the chain and unlocked the front door and opened it. It was already pitch black. While there were some lights outside that dimly lit the pathway, they couldn't have enough power to pierce the darkness that some suspicious person might be hiding in. No one's just gonna be standing outside in a typhoon. That's just weird. Again, we're talking about a serial killer, so to be fair, they're already kind of weird. Still holding her gun on Eva dashed out into without an umbrella. Yeah, ain't no time for a damn umbrella. Jessica followed after her. After glancing at each other, Dr. Nanjo and I chased after them. Then the killer chased after me. What in the world is happening in this mansion on this island? I've been shut up in the guest house with the rest of the cousins since yesterday, so I don't know anything about what's going on outside. Just what is happening that I don't know about. Outside this room, in the mansion on the island, everything is happening, everything is proceeding, and everything is ending without my knowing it. Somewhere in my heart, I've already started giving up. Most likely, not one of us will see tomorrow morning. When the seagulls cry, nobody will be left alone. Someone, I guarantee you Ava will. I guarantee it. Because she's already solved the epitaph, so magic bullshit's gonna protect her. God, why couldn't it have been Rosa? And her daughter, of course, because she'd be probably devastated if Maria died and she got to live. Or Natsuhi. I wouldn't mind Natsuhi living either. A really fucked up witch. Jessica's woeful voice echoed throughout the rose garden. Perhaps it was the intuition of a person who lived on the island. After checking the part of the rose garden where Aunt Rosa and Maria had fallen and seeing nothing, Jessica went to look in the arbor next. Normally the arbor was probably a wonderful location to enjoy tea peacefully while appreciating the roses on a good sunny day. Maybe even Uncle Cross and Aunt Natsuhi had days when they relaxed and enjoyed their tea together. In that arbor lay their corpses. At least they weren't drenched in the rain like Aunt Rosa and Maria had been. But there was no way I could say that out loud to Jessica at that moment. At least they're not soaking wet. They're dead. Thanks, Nanjo.
考察ですね。ほら、ご覧なさい。首にくっきりと何か細いもので絞めた跡が残っている。
It's like a rope.
だが、まさかこっちが主たる死因のわけはねえだろうよ。
Right there lay 2 stake-like weapons decorated with an occult design, which had been found driven into Uncle Cross's thigh area and near Aunt Natsuhi's calf. When we found these sticking out of my parents' foreheads and chest, we decided to preserve the crime scene and leave them for the police. But Jessica didn't care about such matters and immediately pulled the stakes out of her parents' forsaken bodies.
これで頭、胸、腹、膝、足の5つをえぐられた死体が出たわけね。 Why does it feel like more people have, like... One second.
Not, oh yeah, system. I haven't actually gone through her roses yet. Died in the rose garden with her medulla oblongata, pierced by the spear, part of the defense. If Maria's death hadn't been a clear homicide, it may have been possible to suspect an accidental death in Rosa's case. The woman was the human sacrifice to the birth of the new witch. God, that is gruesome. Her corpse is found in the rose garden. The cause of her death was strangling, probably by bare hand. Circumstantial evidence makes it reasonable to assume she was killed after Maria, which is what I called. Reasonable to assume, then her blood became the red ink for the witch's oath. Kyrie died in the hall of the mansion, her stomach pierced by a stake-shaped weapon. The stomach isn't a particularly lethal spot. Isn't it enough just to kill her in some other way? Easier way to stick a stake in the corpse. Died in the hall of the mansion with his forehead pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. Apparently they've got to be finished off with stakes from here on out. Gross. God damn it, Ava. Died in the hall of the mansion, his chest pierced by a stake-shaped weapon. He was careless of me. Didn't think you were still alive. God, ugh. Her corpse is found in the rose garden arbor. The cause of death is assumed to be strangling with a rope-like object. A stake weapon was sticking out of her cap. Why do I even have to follow the epitaph in the first place? Is this some kind of game? It's a cross found in the rose garden arbor. The cause of his death is assumed to be strangulation. Staked weapon was sticking out of his thigh. If there wasn't that stupid epitaph, I wouldn't have needed a stake. What a pain. What a fucking ungrateful little bitch. Then George will be the leg or the foot. But I don't know, it just feels, I don't know, weird. It feels, I don't know, it feels like there's 4th Twilight, 1, 2, 6, 8, 6. Huh. I don't know. It just feels like it's one too many. I don't know. I could be wrong though. This feels off, number-wise. Obviously.
魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。上等だぜ。魔女が蘇るってことは、犯人が堂々と姿を現してくれるってことなんだろう。何が誰も生き残れないだ。私が殺してやる。父さんと母さんを殺した犯人をこの手で絶対に殺してやる。
Jessica let out her emotions. Her emotions flow out as she howled furiously. To avoid being crushed by grief, she could do nothing but resist with anger.
まだジョージが見つかってないわ。ジェシカちゃんたちはここにいたければいるといい。私は屋敷へ行くわ。
エヴァさん、バラバラに行動してはいけない。みんなで一緒に行動しなくては危険です。
兄さんたちはもうどうしようもないわ。でもジョージはまだどこかで生きているかもしれない。ここで時間を潰してる暇はないのよ。
Anzan Ava screamed as Jessica glared at her. Ava had no more time to bother about the dead. She was more concerned about the safety of her only son, who had yet to be seen.
ジェシカちゃんはここでお父さんとお母さんのそばにいるといい。私はちょっと屋敷に行ってくるわ。バトラ君も南條先生もここにいてくれていい。
No, I'll go with you. After arbitrarily saying this, Ava rushed out of the arbor. I called out for her to stop, but there was no way she would listen. However, being alone in the situation meant nothing short of death. If we silently watched her leave, it would be the same as letting her die. Since Ava was unwilling to stop, we had no choice but to follow her. And while it may be cruel to say so, Uncle Cross and Natsuhi were already dead, so there was nothing more we could do for them. In the end, we had no choice but to console Jessica and head for the mansion together. Fortunately, Jessica stood up. Perhaps she has been able to break free from her grief. But what had surfaced in its place was an expression like a demon's. Yeah, she's gonna be pissed.
私がこの手でぶっ殺して必ず敵を取ってやる。
I'd be pissed.
行こうぜバトラー。犯人を見つけたら邪魔をするなよ。
Okay.
私が絶対に殺す。
Have fun. I'm not gonna get in your way.
親父たちの仇があるんだ。悪いが早いもん勝ちだぜ。
そうだな。ぶっ殺してやろうぜ。
Not gonna hear any complaints from me. At my words, Jessica finally seemed to feel like we sympathized with her emotions. She still had the dark expression, but I felt that Jessica had regained some of her sanity. We took off, chasing after Aunt Ava. Through the rose garden, up the stone steps, running at full speed towards the mansion whose large intimidating shadow flashed in the lightning. With this, the murders of the epitaph have reached the 8th twilight, and now on the 9th twilight the witch shall revive. None shall be left alive. I shall most likely lose my life. I will most likely lose my life, but at the very least, I want to burn the truth into my eyes. That's the only thing motivating me to move right now. Also, there's no, like we'd get constantly different letters. Like almost always after a twilight. And that's not happening this time around. Strange. We were able to meet up with Aunt Ava, who was having trouble with the lock in the front door. It seemed that all the blood had risen to Aunt Ava's head. It was probably making her fingers clumsy. It looked like she couldn't even handle the simple task of inserting the key into the lock. I've had that issue before. Then there was a faint sound. The sound of the door unlocking. Just as though it had waited for all the survivors to unite before opening. It felt to me as though the malicious mansion was trying to swallow up all the remaining humans at once. Perhaps the stench that erupted outwards the instant the door opened couldn't be described as just a smell. It was just the charred smell from grandfather. I think it was also have contained the regrets of the servants and Dad's group. Of all the dead. And what did it mean as it floated out, overwhelming us? Was it the cry of the dead telling us not to enter? However, Aunt Ava didn't even flinch at something like that. And we who had to chase her were forced to step into the mansion even after receiving that message.
Georgie! Georgie! 聞こえたら返事をしなさい! Georgie!
Aunt Ava shouted at the top of her lungs. Considering the situation, it was probably far too optimistic to imagine that he's alive. When we started following Aunt Ava's example and calling out George's name in loud voices, Aunt Ava spotted something and stopped walking. She was standing in front of the door of the parlor.
これは南條先生ちょっと来てもらえるかしら
何事ですかな
I had heard about the eerie magic circles written on doors like the one in the parlor for the adults. Eerie is the only word to describe that thing, which was scribbled with deep red paint reminiscent of the blood as so that it slowly dripped down. However, that was supposedly been there since this morning. Wondering why Aunt Ava, who had supposedly seen it already, would think it odd now, Jessica and I stared at the door.
確かにこんな数字が書かれていた記憶はありません
What?
ええ、なかったわ。不気味な魔法文字みたいなのは書かれていたけど、数字は書かれていなかった。
What are the numbers? From what the two of them said, only the magic circle had been there this morning. However, right now there were 8 digits written near the upper part of the magic circle. What? 0715 1129. What the hell? I'll just keep that down just in case. There's never such thing as something that's completely useless, so might as well have it. taken down, just in case. I didn't know what it meant, but I didn't even want to imagine what someone all had been thinking when they wrote it. It was drawn with the same paint as the magic circle, but it had clearly been written very recently. The way it had dried and the condition of the color was completely different from the magic circle part.
どうせ魔法的な意味があるんだろうぜ。深く考えたって意味なんかあるわけもないさ。
No, no one ever puts something useless up there. It has to mean something. Jessica intentionally spat those words out in an attempt to push aside the eerie feel it gave off.
魔法陣というものかもしれませんが。
No, I don't think it is.
ある種の数字遊びに魔除けが宿るという考え方です。どの列を足しても同じ数字になるみたいなものを皆さんも見聞きしたことがおありでしょう。
I don't think this works like that, but okay.
あれは四角形の中に埋めた数字の話じゃなかった？
Yes.
これは横一列だもの。何の意味があるのかさっぱりだわ。多分ジェシカちゃんの言うのが正解よ。私たちが深く考えたところで。
I'd write it down personally, but that's just me. I did write it down, actually. Even though she said that, she probably suspected that it actually meant something. Aneva was definitely writing that number down on an old receipt or something, with a short ballpoint pen. Unless it had some obvious pattern, it would probably be it would be tough to memorize a code made up in an 8-digit number.
これ日にちとかな。
日にち？
7:15, 11:29. I don't think anything happened in 11:29 of significance.
何の話？
Significance, I should say.
いや偶然だろうか。
I mean, you could say that about any 8-digit number, really.
俺の誕生日
Not 11:29.
0715が7月15日を示すのかなって思ったら1129もほらその11月29日って読んだらちょうど語呂がいいかなって思ってよ。
I'm glad you're thinking about yourself, Battler, but no.
そして11月29日ってなんだよ。
Let me guess it's gonna happen be George's birthday.
俺が知りてえぜ。まあそのたまたまの偶然だろうけどな。そう考えたらなんだか不気味になっちまったぜ。11月29日が誰かの誕生日だったりとかするのか。
Yeah, it's gonna be George's birthday because fucking bullshit, right?
うちの家族は違うぜ。親父もキリエさんもエンジェも違う。もちろん俺のお袋もだ。
心当たりがありませんな。
Especially since because she hasn't said anything, so she's gonna be like just in stock horror, right?
金蔵さんの誕生日でも源氏さんの誕生日でもないはずだ。
うちの家族も違うわよ。
Never mind.
ローザやマリアちゃんでもないわ。
How do you know?
うちの家族だって違うぜ。カノン君も違うし、シャノンも違う。
They have birthdays?
私、使用人の人の誕生日にはちゃんとプレゼント渡してるからみんな知ってるけど。
Okay, that's helpful.
11月29日に誕生日の人間なんて知らないぜ。
Yeah, so probably the birthday theory's out. Once we started imagining that the 8 digits weren't meaningless, but actually 2 dates written together, it really started to look that way. However, its true meaning may be something completely different, or there may be no meaning at all. Anyway, since we don't have any real clues, it's probably pointless to stand around worrying about it. The inside of the parlor is much more important. This morning, behind each of the doors with a magic circle drawn on them had been a body of a victim. So if something new had been added to this door, does that mean something new has been added to the inside the parlor? When Aneva tried to open it, she felt the resistance of the lock. She immediately took out a master key and put it in the keyhole. As soon as she opened the door, Aneva let out a high-pitched scream and ran inside. That alone was enough to tell us what had happened inside the room. Dr. Nanjo and I looked at each other, and I shook my head slightly as we entered the parlor.